It's an ML Sports Take brought to you by Jam and Beats, Rosie's Corner, and Welch and Company Jewelers. Shop the showcase today at welchjewelers.com. Rings, engagement rings, necklaces, bracelets, you name it, go get it at welchjewelers.com. So Michigan, Sharon Moore in, of course, taking over for Jim Harbaugh. Had plenty of experience last year and, of course, beat both the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions. This schedule is it's brutal. I mean, you get Texas, USC, Oregon, Ohio State. Oh my, at Washington, welcome to the Big Ten. Illinois is probably a 7-8 win team this year. They've got them on the road as well. I got a little bit of a cupcake in Ann Arbor for week 1 in Fresno State, but this schedule is absolutely unbelievable. And listen, if they go 9-3, there's still a good chance to get into the top 12. That's one of the examples this year of this expanded playoff where you can lose more than one game, maybe even more than two. The only problem is we're going to get multiple 2-loss teams, multiple 3-loss teams, and everybody's going to fight there, right? Number 13, 14, 16, 8. Oh, what about us? What about us? Which is basically the old way of number 5 through 7 or 8 or 9. Like, what about our schedule and our 1 loss or our 2 losses look better than your 1 loss? All that sort of thing. Michigan, though, here's where I land on this. I think they can beat USC at home, no problem, because that defensive front has 2 top 10 NFL picks on it. If they can beat Texas in week 2, their pivotal game in week 2, to me, looks a lot like Syracuse's in week 2 against Georgia Tech for different reasons. If Michigan can win that game and go through the schedule, and they should beat the Michigan States and the Minnesotas and those type of clubs. Syracuse trying to get back to kind of some, solid footing. If they can win that Georgia Tech game, they could go 7-5, 8-4. If Michigan can beat Texas, I think they can run USC and all the way through. That at Washington game might be tough, but even if they lose that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games into the season, you're 5-1. At Illinois, pull that out. Michigan State, win that game. You got Oregon, then Indiana, Northwestern, Ohio State. You split Oregon and Ohio State and win every other game, they're not going to be kept out of the college football playoff at 2 losses. They're just not. So to me, swing game, pivotal, top-ranked club, head-to-head, all that stuff that matters. Texas right there in week 2 could be the major swing game. Man, you face Oregon and Ohio State 2 of the last 4 weeks of the season. I understand that's difficult, but you can't get to that part. You can't get to the middle part. You can't get anywhere until you get through Texas, I think, in week 2. And then I think they have a real opportunity there. 5-0, 6-0, 6-1, 7-2 into that area. You have the 8 games there played, 6-2, 7-1, in that area. And again, you split Oregon, Ohio State. My goodness, if you're 7-1 there, you're 10-2. You're definitely going to the college football playoff. But that Texas swing game in week 2, for a different reason than Cuse, getting back to a playoff and trying to defend the title for the Michigan Wolverines. Now, listen, this roster, I understand they lost a bunch. They still have a bunch coming back. I mean, and if Alex Orji can kind of run the offense like McCarthy did last year, have a ton of that ground game, and then set up the play action, Donovan Edwards is back. This Michigan team should flourish in the play action. Their offensive wideouts, not as good as last year, but I think developing. You've got a nice mix of youth and leadership in terms of the senior class, junior class. And then obviously we know the defensive front might be, along with Ohio State. I mean, you might have the 2 best defensive fronts in college football right there in the Big Ten in both Columbus and Ann Arbor. So we'll see what happens. But Michigan, I think, schedule-wise, daunting. But 3 losses could get them even in still to the college football playoff with the new format. 2 losses, slam dunk. ML Sports Take here, brought to you by CH Insurance, Burn Dairy, Platinum Auto Sales of Central New York, and our awesome friends at Stumblin' Monkey Brewing Company. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Tip of the cap thank you as well to friends of the program, Dan Van Hart, John Kilb, Bob Lindsley, and Daryl Abert.